Welcome to the Ladies Show. We have 4 ladies with 4 opinions, and today we have some new faces. So we want to talk about the new faces. So I'm going to start with Zakia here. Hi. I'm going to say it again for you guys, Zakia. And so she is actually our new permanent host. So excited. Yay, Zakia.
So excited. Yes.
We're excited to have her on the team. And you know, Jana. And then Misty here is joining us today. So we're excited to have her here as well. Thank you, Misty. And then Nia. And then I am Zandria, who you have met before. So we're just gonna dive into it, ladies. So I'm gonna tell you now, we're all take a deep breath. We're gonna talk about something that's been in the headlines and something that's very important. And multiple people have actually reached out to me for us to cover this topic and learn and share and grow. There's a lot of misconceptions about it, about this topic. It's a taboo topic, you know, that some people just aren't comfortable talking about. So I do want to say a special disclaimer for this episode. Please be advised that the subject matter discussed may be sensitive to our viewers, but we want to touch on this topic that is trending worldwide about human sex trafficking. If you notice, in the past few months, there has been a heightened awareness of human trafficking, especially among the African American community, and not just for girls, which is one of the one of the many misconceptions, but for boys as well. So everyone thinks of girls or women, but no, it's boys and men as well that we need to look out for. So I'm going to tell you guys some statistics as well as the definition of sex trafficking, because I had never looked up the definition of sex trafficking. I was curious what it did actually say. So sex trafficking, they said that sex trafficking is when someone is basically sold into slavery in the sense of sex, right? And it can be, one of the misconceptions is it's certain ages, certain demographics, certain races. None of that matters. All of those things that we think we know are all out the door, which makes it even more terrifying, right? Because we like to put things in a box. This has no box. This cannot be tamed. This is a $32 billion a year industry.
$32 billion.
And it's $150 billion worldwide, human trafficking.
That's insane.
It's on the rise in all 50 states of the U.S. 4.5 million of trafficked persons are sexually exploited. Up to 300,000 Americans under the age of 18 are lured into commercial sex trade every year. And this is as of April 2019. I'm pulling these statistics because I always like to know the date.
300,000?
300,000.
How many high schools is that?
Right. Oh, that's like, that's
all of them. 300 high schools.
That's like a lot of them for sure. And then I do want to give you guys some numbers to contact. Maybe you're in it right now. Maybe you're going through it. Maybe you know someone who's going through it. So I wanted to give you a contact number for human trafficking survivors or even report a tip. The number is 888-373-788, extension 233-733. And I'll be giving different information for people to reach out to. The estimated age is anywhere from 12 years and up. The number one states within the U.S., because I'm going to focus, obviously we're in the U.S. The number one state is California.
No.
Yeah, I know. I was blown away, devastated, and shocked to know that California is number one. Number two was Las Vegas, and number 3 was Atlanta. So I was shocked at the ranking. Okay. I was shocked that we live in the number one state. That automatically just overwhelms me and just pushed me more to know that this is the topic we need to be discussing. Definitely. And I know, Zakia, I'll be doing some more statistics later, but we're going to dive into some stories that we all had a chance to research and shed some light so we could be more educated for our audience. Sure. I know you were sharing with us earlier this story.
So I came across an operation that the state of California did. It was a sting back in January of this year where they, took down a big operation. It's called Operation Reclaim and Rebuild. It was a 3-day sting to take it down. And one of the stories that caught my eye, there were many, of course, peep rescues, but one that caught my eye was a 17-year-old girl who lived somewhere in like the Northern California area, a smaller community, and she met a guy online, thought herself in love, and they had arranged to meet. She was going to move to Fresno and start her new life with her Mr. Right. Wow. Because she thought she was moving to this better life, even took her little 13-year-old sister with her. So 17-year-old, 13-year-old girls show up in Fresno only to find out that this man is actually a pimp. And within 3 days of moving to Fresno, he then sold both of those young ladies to another pimp elsewhere for $6,000. And that's how they were just thrown into the sex trafficking ring.
Oh my gosh, that's devastating.
It was crazy.
That can happen to anybody.
Anybody,
anytime, anywhere.
Yes.
And there were two. It was not just one, one victim. There were two victims in this story.
Yeah.
Were they able to escape, or how did?
Well, they were part of the rescues from the 3-day sting. So yes, they are rescued now. But I can't imagine the damage that's done there. Right.
Oh yeah,
big time. One, I thought I was going to live a new life, and so now that part is damaged. And I bear the responsibility of taking my 13-year-old sister with me too.
Oh my God! This is the last thing you want to do. You never want to get your sibling caught up in anything that's going to hurt them. Yeah. Wow.
And you're thinking you're protecting her, helping her, and that story completely broke my heart.
Wow. And sadly, upon researching, I don't know about you ladies, that was a common thread. There was a common thread of a boyfriend or a girlfriend, in the sense of a friend trying to help you make some extra money, or a boyfriend in the sense of, oh, I love you, I'm going to take care of you, I'm going to make sure everything's good. And then it turned into a whole nother nightmare.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just reel you in like that.
Yeah. Especially when you're young and naive.
Right.
Yes.
You don't know. Yeah. And you can be a friend of a friend. Hey, come on over here.
Yeah. Your friend is going to set you up, because that's a setup.
Definitely.
That's a setup. You don't think your boyfriend's going to set you up.
Right.
You don't.
Someone who claims to love you or want to take care of you or whatever it is. Wow. Yeah. I know, Johnny, there was a story that you had read as well.
I had a story, but before I share that, I might share that in the next segment.
Okay.
I found I'm still shaking my head. Yeah. I looked at a report that was done on Fox News, and they had a 2-month investigation that they did. And one of the things that they stated out of that investigation is that not only are we the number one hub for sex trafficking, but we're driving the demand for it with our own kids. Wow. It says, quote, there are tremendous numbers of kids, a multitude of kids that are being sold as sex slaves in America, many of them coming out of foster care. Oh, yeah. That's it. And so now, because America has become the hub, other countries are sending kids to us to add to the machine that is sex trafficking in the United States. The demand in the U.S. is a global one. And we do have people who are traveling and going places like Thailand and East Asia to purchase sex kids to bring them here. Wow. To bring them here. So one of the people that worked on this report, they have an organization called More to Life in Florida. And what they said is they work with victims that are 3, not 13, but 3 years old and up. 3 babies. Babies.
I don't even.
It's sick. I'm saying, what can you do?
Oh, my stomach. My stomach hurts.
Or they work with kids that are 18 or older who started being sexually assaulted at 3 and 4 years old. So they're already prime real estate to take into the sex trafficking industry because they've already been abused. They're groomed for it. They're easier to approach, easier to draw into that because of their life experience at that point.
Oh my gosh, ladies. Okay, I hate to break because I have a million questions and I definitely want to get on more of the information that you uncovered, Jana and Zakia. Thank you for sharing. And then Nia will be up next. But we're going to take a short break. We will see you guys in a few moments. Remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, and shout us out on your live. We would love to answer some questions, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back to the Ladies Show. Remember, we are live. We're so excited to welcome our live audience on. Remember, drop us any information you have about the topics that we're talking about today and comment, share, and like and subscribe for everybody. We are on YouTube. And again, it's the Ladies Talk Show. So I wanted to get right back into what we were talking about. Our topic today, again, just a disclaimer, it is a heavy topic. So I'm going to say it again. Just be advised the subject matter discussed may be sensitive to our viewers. And we're going to jump back into what we were talking about with Jana. So Jana, we left off with you and you were sharing a story about a 3-year-old. So the United States statistically is one of the top 3 nations in the world, us, Mexico, and the Philippines, who are most involved in human trafficking. And I think, Zandria, you mentioned earlier, 300,000 kids, male and female, are drawn into and subjected to and forced into this business, masked as a way of life. And the thing that really just got to me when I was doing the research is when it said that America is number 1. And it's such a lucrative business here in this country that we're using our own kids to supply it. Wow.
Our own children, our United States children. You know, I don't know how this is supposed to.
How do we fix that?
What I was going to say, I probably shouldn't say, but I know that, you know, we're all concerned about the state of America right now, and yet this is slipping through the cracks.
Oh yeah,
so you know, we're worried about, you know, shootings at schools and things like that, which we should, because safety is safety.
Yeah.
But these are kids. When it says here in this report that they start as young as 3, sometimes what do you even do with a 3-year-old? That's a rhetorical question,
right?
And the thing is it's more than just people have an addiction. It's more than just people need a psychologist. It's an epidemic.
Oh yeah, no.
And it's a business. It's
right, because what we were talking about before is, you know, and not that drugs are okay, but you can sell a drug to someone once, and then you have to wait for them to return and need that drug again.
Absolutely.
But a human being, just like the cotton trade, you can use them over and over again for labor. The same thing, unfortunately, with sex trade. You can do, you know, they can service multiple people. So sometimes we're thinking of, oh no, you know, they have, you know, these children or men or women. Again, it's all sexes and all ages, 3 and up.
That's true.
Which makes my stomach hurt. They use those people over and over again. There's nothing like that. You know what I mean? Which is why it's so profitable. And the 300,000 were for America. That's not even the international that you're talking about. That's just here. 300,000 here. And that was from April of 2019, which they noted is grossly underreported. Like they can't even keep up. You know what I mean?
One of the things I just want to drive home that you said is the fact that it's slipping through the cracks. You know, you're worried about, like you said, the school shootings and this and this and that. And yes, those things are incredibly important. Terrifying. But who is your child talking to on the internet?
That's right.
Remember, the story that I shared was a little girl who was just on the internet.
Right.
Just on the internet.
Right.
Then some of the other stories that we'll share today, it's the uncles, it's the cousins, it's the girl's best friend.
That's right.
It's right there in front of you, and it looks innocent, and you have no idea.
Oh yeah, their adults are, you know, they're definitely not, you know, there's adults running this, all of this. You know, a 3-year-old has no idea about any of this. There's an adult running that whole thing. You know what I mean? There's somebody. Which and again, men and women running it. You know, again, you tend to think of a pimp as a man. But there's women that are also pimps. There's women that the pimp will use a woman to lure another woman.
Yes, absolutely.
A high school child that's about this life and has wrapped into this will use her friendship with her best friend, like you mentioned, to say, hey girl, I made an extra $200 at my job. Oh, well, what do you do? Oh, well, come with me. And it can be something as innocent as that, where they're preying on our children because they're so naive. A lot are the LGBTQ community as well. And then homeless. foster
Foster
children,
kids.
so at-risk youth that are living on the streets, are homeless for whatever reason, and this just literally survival, not realizing that they're part of this whole epidemic that's going on, right? Just like you said. And it's in every area. People think it's a certain area. People think it's certain people. People think it's certain sexes. It's none of that. It's none of that. Exactly. It is a commodity. It is a commodity. It's a business. Yeah, it is. It is.
And the better shape the product is in,
exactly.
the more money you can get for them, the more you can charge. The younger, the more naive.
That's right.
The more lucrative the business becomes.
Right. And then if you think of it, the business aspect of it, people all have their certain tastes. So that means nobody is off the market.
That's why
nobody.
Why it's so wide.
There's
the
a
age range is so wide. The ethnicity. What they look like.
There's a customer that's saying, "I'd like me a thick black woman in her 30s."
Oh yeah.
Who's to say that I won't go to Walmart today? So one of them see me and think, "Yep."
Oh, of course.
Perfect.
Of course.
That's true.
Like they're shopping for Christmas, but they're shopping for humans.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, I hear stories. I don't know if you guys hear stories. I hear stories all the time. Like this is happening during the day. Like there was a lady on live and she was physically shaken because they tried to snatch her during the day and she went live to tell people that this is during the day.
The lifter in the lift, was it that the lady was the lift driver? They were taking her in a different direction. Yeah, she got out on Facebook Live and said he. Really
that was a different case. I was looking at a different case. Yeah. So, but I see it all the time, right? Like I'm seeing, literally every week, I'm seeing something, or someone's DMing me something, or someone's emailing me something. It's like overwhelming that this is happening in broad daylight. Right. And around what age was that lady that you were talking about?
In her 20s.
See, the one I was watching was in her 30s.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So it does. That's what I mean. It doesn't matter the age or the range or anything. Okay, so Misty, I'm sorry, Nia. I know you have some information that you wanted to share as well.
Well, speaking of international and just being local, I found, I'm going to call her a Wonder Woman. This was from the Global Centurion publication. Her name was Josephine Butler, and she was born in April 1828 to a wealthy landowner, cousin to Earl Grey. So she had money, she came from money. So she wanted to give back and do service to the community. So she went to underprivileged communities. And lo and behold, she found out that the women and the children and the kids there, they were being used as prostitution.
Wow.
So they were prostituted.
And this is 1821?
Yes, ma'am, in Britain. So this was, and she found out the human trafficking was going on. So she went to the legislation to pass a law about communicable diseases. It was the CDA Act, Communicable Disease Act. So they passed it, but of course they found a loophole.
Of course.
They found a loophole for the police to abuse them, to take them and then do more human trafficking.
Wow.
So another journalist heard about her story, and he purchased a child and she was 13 years old. Her name was Eliza Armstrong. Wow. He wrote an article in the Pall Mall Gazette the next day, which caused the firestorm. So now it's on the map. Now everybody is starting to know back in 1800 what's going on. So another journalist, Nicholas Kristoff in New York, heard about it. He went and purchased 2 Cambodian girls, brought them back to safety, and when he wrote his article, it blew up. So now it's international, it's global. Everybody knows. And we're talking about back in the 1800s.
Right. Not Instagram, no Facebook.
So for now it to come, like they say, everything comes back full circle. This time it has came back to us with a vengeance.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we have the internet, we have all types of ways. Then it was word of mouth. Now you have the internet, you have your cell phones, you have books, magazines, anything you can go you want and get. Trust and believe is out there for you to get. Is. And it makes no sense that, we are our brothers and sisters keepers, that no one is, you gotta watch out who's picking your produce. Find
Right.
out who they are and where are they, because they could be being human trafficked.
Yeah, it's true.
You know
Of
what I mean?
course.
Who's doing your hair? Who's coming in doing your maid service, your lawn service? You don't know. That could be a human trafficking
Definitely.
team.
So true.
Team.
So a whole crew.
And we don't even know that we're
Right
you
under
know
your
we're paying for you to be here, and we don't even know that you're
We're
here against your
profiting.
will.
Yeah, we're helping you profit.
We're
Yeah.
helping, and
Wow.
we don't even know it.
Wow.
And on the same token, we're against it, but little do we know
We're
that,
financing it.
We're financing you because you know we have to do our homework as to where this produce is coming from, where these nail shop technicians are coming from.
Massage
who's working
huge.
in
It's
the
huge.
massage parlors,
Yes.
the landscapers. I mean, anything and everybody. We really need to do our due diligence to find out who is here working for us, and they don't have to be Asian. They can be blacks. They can be whites. In the community doing landscaping, and you still don't know that they're being human trafficked.
That's right. No, you have no idea because they show up, they do their job, you pay them, and they leave. There was be no indication of what's going on.
Yeah.
We're going to take another break. I know we're all in this discussion. A shout out to our live audience. Go ahead and drop us some questions or concerns. And then also to everyone, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. We're definitely going to come back for our third segment, talk about some safety tips, and I'll have a story to share with you as well. And we hope you take all of this information to your heart, share with your family, your friends, your kids, your neighbors, and let people know that it really could be anybody. It sadly could be you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Ladies Show. I'm so excited that you guys are joining us, our live audience, and also our subscribers here. Remember, like, share, comment. I'm going to go ahead and say the disclaimer again. This topic is a very sensitive topic. We are talking about sex trafficking. We are coming to a conclusion now where we're going to say, we're going to share a few more stories, give some more safety tips. But remember, we always want to hear what you guys have to say. We really appreciate your input. So Nia was sharing with us this story from the 1800s. So I definitely want to jump right back into that because I have some questions.
All right. Also, Josephine Butler, she did work with Parliament in 1864 to pass another legislation that would allow the police to arrest any woman in prostitution in any town and in any army port.
Wow.
And if they had a disease, check this part out. If they had a disease, they locked the women up until they were cured. And if they were cured, they never were released.
Versus the men or others that are purchasing them?
Right. And that was the reason for the law was to protect the men. They didn't care about the women. They wanted to protect the men. So that's how that other loophole opened up for the authorities to take advantage of the women and children, because they could just pick you or me. Hey, you're a prostitute just because you're a female. Or there's a kid walking around by himself or herself.
That's crazy.
They, that's what they did. So she spent the last few decades of her life, this has been going on for the last 135 years, probably longer than that, because I'm sure it's been going on slavery days and back in Greece and Greek, but AD and BC and all of that.
Exactly.
The last 135 years of her life, she battled to abolish all types of human trafficking. She did her best to do it. So the torch carries on. So for her, I wanted to call her a Wonder Woman because she came to the forefront in a time when no one cared or paid attention. Yeah. She could have easily sat up in her little queendom and didn't care about the little people, but she came out, got her boots on, hiked them up, got dirty, and went out there and went elbow to
She showed up and showed out.
She sure did.
For that, I would like to
yes, definitely.
That with us.
That's amazing. I've never heard anything about that. I think that's amazing that she was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and stop living my best life for a minute and go ahead and jump into this, because you have to have people that have the power and the money and the influence and the circles and the networking to make real change. You know, you can scream from the mountaintops, but if you don't have the right connections or the money, you know, or it does nothing. True. Yeah, it does nothing. It's like screaming into the wilderness. Yeah. Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to share a story that you guys that I pulled up on ABC News. And it was about a sex trafficking bust as well here in the U.S., sadly again. And it was more than 100 children rescued. It was a 2-week sting in the U.S. The FBI led the whole task force, but there were multiple agencies involved. And it was actually 400 law enforcement agencies, because that's how wide it was. 103 minor victims were taken away that were perpetuating the sting. And then 67 arrests came from that once they had 103. And then they rescued 100 people, mostly minors, mostly children. But there were some adults, male and female, which I keep saying we have this conception that it's just children or teenagers or women. Or women, and it's not. Men are involved as well, even though they do say the statistics are 85% women. But they say that could be wrong. They can't keep tracking it because it literally is the number one fastest growing crime in America. Period. Nothing is beating. That's believable. Nothing is beating what's going on with the sex trafficking right now. So how they caught, I thought this was awesome. I don't know, have you guys ever seen that show, To Catch a Predator? Yes. Was it Chris Hansen? Oh, he literally would set up fake dates with, most of the time actually all the time there were men. And he would act as a child. He was an adult anchor and had a team of people that would interact with these people and would set up a time to meet. Sometimes they would already have, graphic information going on, but they were adults setting up times to meet with children. Well, this is actually what they did in this sting. They set up fake dates. They met at prearranged locations. Of course, they had everybody there ready to take them down. And then they brought in individuals, and sometimes it would be the individuals and their pimps. So then they would be able to rescue the individual and then take down the pimp as well. They would pull them away from them. They had a special task force that was trained in handling sex trafficked victims, because for a long time they weren't seen as victims at all. And so they had them on standby. And like I said, it was children, women, men of all ages, races, backgrounds. And so I just thought that was amazing that they were able to create a task force like that with so many different agencies. The most trafficked people were from the states of California,
Here we go.
Las Vegas, Atlanta, and Seattle. Those were the top 4 that represented the highest. So I don't know where we ranked in that, but California has come up. Being a mother of 15 and 13-year-old teenagers, I'm talking to them about this subject after researching it all week and just letting them know that nobody's safe. I'm not safe. Mommy at 40 plus years old is not safe. We have to be aware. So I want to talk about some safety tips that I researched. Some I knew, some I didn't know. If you ladies have any, please jump on in. I know that Nia had some, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and present Nia, and then I'll rattle off whatever ones I don't have as well, because I think more information is always better.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
it is true. So I found 15 ways you can help fight human trafficking.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and then one of them I did speak on briefly earlier about knowing who's working for you.
Right.
And then where you're going to get your hair done, your nails done, and things of that nature. Some of the indicators you can help is by being aware of the individuals, different businesses, first responders, law enforcement, educators. Some of them are amongst the human trafficking.
Of course.
So you still have to be vigilant as to who that new police officer is, who that new crossing guard is crossing your kids every morning. You know what I mean? So you have to stay focused. And I think a lot of us, we get lax, we get complacent, and send Junior or Janet on off to school and not even thinking.
Of course, it's supposed to be a safe place.
Right.
Yeah.
With the tutors and everything, we find something on the internet. Go on over there, or you have her come over or him come over, and you're upstairs, or either you're asleep or either you're at work.
Right.
And you have a total stranger in your house. But it's a tutor that I got off the internet. So what? Do your homework.
That's right.
You have to be diligent. These are our kids. These are our families. It's the same with the senior and home health. You know, you don't want to leave grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad at home alone, and you bring in a total stranger.
That's
They're
right.
being molested too.
Of course.
They're being taken.
Beaten,
You know,
assaulted,
robbed.
Can I jump in on one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Do not be fooled that it's always strangers that you don't know.
That's
Do your
true.
homework.
Yes.
Do your homework
Say that.
on the people in your family also.
That's right.
I'm not telling you to be, super paranoid and all of that, but open your eyes.
Right.
Open your eyes. A lot of the times it's someone closer than you think.
That's very true.
Right.
Do your homework on everybody.
Yeah, because the access is
Protect
easier,
your kids.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the
access
access is easier because it's like, oh, that's auntie, that's uncle, that's cousin. Oh, that's your cousin's best friend. That's our neighbor. You know, all those people that again should be a safe place, like school. Yeah, sometimes those can be a whole hub that
Your
you
boyfriend.
don't. A boyfriend, right? A boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be relationship observant. Because I remember when
Exactly.
we were little, there were certain ways that my dad just wouldn't allow us to interact in certain ways. Like we never sat on our relatives' laps.
Right.
Absolutely.
The boys or the girls.
Right.
Absolutely.
There were certain ways they couldn't hug us.
Absolutely.
Right.
We were never alone with any of them.
Right.
And we knew them well.
Right.
But he just had his thing was like, no. I have to know what's going on at all times with all people.
Yeah.
And it seemed a little weird to us sometimes.
Right.
But on reflection, it's like, okay, I guess he had the right idea.
Yeah. For example, my daughter was invited to a birthday party at the last minute, literally the day of after school. She's texting me, Mom, I'm walking down. I'm going to meet you, but I want to go to this birthday party. I don't know these people.
Yeah.
I'm not dropping you off at a surprise birthday party that you told me about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
I don't even know the child.
Right. Yes.
I've never even been to this home. So my children are not allowed to go to homes that I've never been to.
Absolutely.
That's just not something I'm ever comfortable with. At first, my husband kind of was like, okay, but he quickly got on board. I mean, from a young age. So I was always the play date mom. I was always hosting, play dates. 'Cause I want my kids, of course, to be kids and have a childhood. Yeah. And the moms were like, oh, you're so great at this. And they would just drop their kids off. They wouldn't even walk in. They had never met me. You saw me at school. You don't know who I am. You don't know who lives in my house. You don't know who lives with me.
In my house.
Thank goodness I'm God-fearing and I'm of sound mind. So, of course, it was just all about cupcakes and what are your allergies so you don't break out, baby. But I'm just saying, it could have been a whole nother thing. I had a miscommunication one time with one parent. We were going back and forth about a play date. And she got confused and thought that I said it was okay for her to take my daughter. I had never been to her house. I didn't even know her address. So I go to pick my daughter up at school and she's not there. Oh, no. And then the office was like, she went with such and such. And I was like, is she on my emergency card? So then they were liable. I was like, I need an address now.
Right now.
I never authorized. She's not on my emergency because if anything happened, they now were liable, right? That never happened again.
Right. Oh no,
they got the business that day, and the mom, thank goodness, was just down the store at Ralph's, and we had a conversation because you have to be clear, and you're right. You just have to be on top of your kids, and you have to be intentional because it's everywhere. And everybody's involved. All the people you're talking about, those are mandated reporters. I work in the school. I'm a mandated reporter. Some of the mandated reporters are the ones that are in on all that.
Yes.
So it's been an honor, ladies, to cover this subject with you. I know it was a heavy subject. It's something we definitely wanted to share with you. I know you guys are going to have a lot of comments. Please like, subscribe, share. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys that hotline number one more time. Actually, there's a text number as well. So you can text 233-733. You text help or info. This is the National Sex Trafficking Line. And then the phone number is 888-373-788. Please don't be afraid to shout out. Please don't be afraid. It doesn't matter whether you work for a school or an agency. We should all be mandated reporters because we only have us.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
At
true.
the end of the day, there's things we hear and see that we feel, and even just the feeling sometimes, especially, as a woman, you just kind of feel like, something's a little off. Something's not, something's not right. And you're right. We need to be able, and I was going to say, I'll close with this really quick, is I know as women, sometimes we're groomed to be polite and we're groomed to help people out. Well, one of the tactics that they're using is a woman or an older woman or a man that's injured. Remember, Ted Bundy was the handsome one who abducted people, who always had a cane or his arm in a sling, and then he would drug you, take you, and eat you. So just keep that in mind, that it's not what we think. It could be anywhere, near or far, and sometimes too close to home, as Zakiya was saying.
And we are our brothers and sisters keepers and our children's keepers.
That's right. Amen. We have to be. Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye, you guys. Thank you. Like, subscribe, share, and give us comments. Hit the reminder. Yes. So you get the bell when we go live or when a new episode comes on. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Thank you.
Everybody take care now.
Bye.